Today I'm going to share with you a traditional Portuguese sponge cake. It's called Pão-de-ló. And every bakery you go into, they have them. They're tied up in a bag. They're super, super fluffy. Kids love them. I remember always having one on the counter for my son once a week where we just slice into it. You can have it with milk. You could just have it as a snack. Sure beats any store-bought cookie any day. And there's only 3 major ingredients: your eggs, your sugar, and your flour. You also have baking powder, salt, and you can always add lemon, orange as flavorings, but I'm going to show you the very simple, traditional, plain cake that you can add to afterward. This cake is definitely so simple to make and will be a go-to when you have extra eggs. And rather than giving them away at unreasonable prices, use them for your family. If you don't want cake all the time, you could always make one of these cakes and donate it to a church bake sale, community bake sale. Take it over to your neighbors and let them try and enjoy it too. Friends, for how amazing this is, it could not be any simpler. You need 375 grams of all-purpose flour. I like to weigh it out. It's 375 grams. A tablespoon of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. And half a teaspoon of salt. I like to use the pink Himalayan salt. You're then going to need 10 of your farm fresh eggs. And of course, if you don't have farm fresh, store-bought is fine. But you know, I like to promote the eggs fresh, hearty, and delicious. And you will also need some sugar. I like the organic cane sugar. And for that, you will need 400 grams. We are going to crack all these eggs into our mixer, add the sugar.
Now we're going to mix this until well incorporated. Make sure to brush down the sides of your bowl and make sure that there's no sugar stuck at the bottom. And we're going to let this beat on high for 5 to 10 minutes. While we're beating the eggs, I'm going to oil my pan. I butter it very generously and then flour it. I do not believe in cooking sprays. I don't know what's in them, and butter is always better anyway. So what I do is generously, using my very clean hands, I butter the pan very liberally, and then I will flour it. And that is the best coating, non-stick coating you can do for any pan. As you can see, I'm just going to dump some flour in. And I make a little bit of a mess when I do this, but you know what? It's worth it. It's a great way to do it. If you haven't prepared a pan like this before, it works really, really well. I always have to put some in the center tube because I don't want that. That's the place where if it's going to stick, it'll stick. So I always make sure to be super generous at that point. And then once I'm done coating, I knock off any excess flour because we don't want clumps of flour on the outside of the cake. There we go. Perfectly done. And now our eggs have beat so well. They're creamy. They almost look like whipping cream. But this was just sugar and eggs. And this is exactly what texture you want. Now what I'll do is incorporate the flour a little at a time. And you don't want to overmix it at this point, but you do want that flour to blend in really well. And there we have our very smooth and silky batter. And now I'm just going to simply pour it into my pan. See how smooth and silky that is? 3 ingredients, that's it. 3 main ingredients: the eggs, the flour, and the sugar. This cake will be a family favorite, I guarantee you. And there's so many variations that I'll share. We're now placing this in a 350-degree oven, and I'm setting my timer for 45 minutes. At 45 minutes, we'll check how it's doing. 45 minutes have gone by. I'm going to use a toothpick to test for doneness. And it's still a little sticky, so I'd let it go another 15 minutes. This is at the 1 hour mark. It's perfect. You don't need it to be golden brown. It just needs to be cooked, and the toothpick test is the best way to do it. Now I'm going to run the knife around the edge just to ensure it hasn't stuck, and this is perfect. I always make sure to do that center section because in those two pans that seems to be the worst spot, but this is doing really, really well. And now for the unmolding. This is where we see how well we've butter and floured our pan. Remember, I don't like those sprays. So here we go. And now the test. Let's see. Perfect. Look how smoothly that came out. The flour and butter is the best nonstick surface. And now I flip it again into my cake tray, which I have a dome for. I keep this on the table. And look at that. That is just beautiful. And just to confirm, there is nothing stuck to this pan at all. And now, let's take this over to the table and cut into it. Let's see what our final product results in. It cuts so buttery. I use a very good bread knife, which really helps. But I find that it's still a little warm. I just had to break into it to show you. Look at how this is just so luscious. It's dense, yet soft. It has a nice bite to it. Not heavy like a pound cake.
Well, what I can tell you about this exceptional cake is that it's super simple, as you can tell. And interesting enough, 3 main ingredients. This is a dead serve version of a sponge cake. Not quite as dense as a pound cake, but it holds its own. And what I like about it is the uses. The flavor, it's not sweet at all. It's mild. It's buttery, even though we did not use any butter. This goes amazing in so many things. I really enjoy it just with a cup of tea. Cup of coffee, espresso goes beautiful. I like it as a base, such as a little bit of whipped cream, some strawberries, and it's like a strawberry shortcake. You can do ice cream over it. You can do lemon curd. Delicious, absolutely delicious. And there's so many versatile ways to use this. I slice it thin and then let it dry out, and it becomes like a cookie. This will be eaten in no time at all. And I will actually post another version of a Pão-de-ló, which is lighter and fluffier because we have the addition of milk and butter. But this one here, you must try. It's a great way to use 10 eggs in a really good way, and this will not last. Friends, it's half done. It will not last. So please try it. And go out, enjoy your day, and live your very best life.
If you haven't already done so, please like, subscribe, and always share with your friends.